Hello and welcome to the Elland Road Roundup with me, Rob Mulholland. It's my weekly look back at all the events surrounding Leeds United. And we've got loads to cover this week, so let's get right to it. The week's irony news began with Derby County announcing they were holding an open training session where anyone was invited to come along and watch. Alright, so it doesn't matter if someone watches your training sessions now, does it, Derby? Hey, doesn't matter? Doesn't matter now, does it? Hey, what a baller move it would have been if Bielsa had turned up like that, just sat front row, little flask of mate tea on the go, just loudly tutting every time they misplaced a pass. Oh, fucking brilliant. Or just Victor Orta rocking up with like comically oversized binoculars, like, "Way!" But unfortunately, that didn't happen because Derby County are utterly irrelevant to Leeds United now. Oh, wait, hold on. No, that's not bad. That's fucking brilliant. And then came our near-weekly announcement that some of our fixtures have been moved around for the telly. And as usual, the Premier League moved the fixtures with all the care and consideration of the weapons expert on the set of Rust. An away trip on Boxing Day lunchtime? Why not? The Premier League throws around fixtures at such short notice and with so little consideration for the fans. It's just so obvious how much of fans, we're now just set dressing for this oligarch's plaything that is modern football. Honestly, they'd have more of a chance of getting a good result for football supporters by just spinning a fucking wheel and seeing what date it lands on. Right, okay. Arsenal v Norwich will be held at 3 a.m. in Kazakhstan. And then news emerged that a bloke who uses the handle OssitWhite on Twitter has been banned for 5 games from Elland Road for the serious crime of letting his young lad run onto the pitch after the Watford match to congratulate some of the players. And you know, it was nice to see the club coming down so hard on these miscreants. We don't want to see scenes like this at the football, right? This is not what anyone wants to view on a family day out. It's disgusting. He could have had a machete for all that we knew. And on Friday, what little confidence any Leeds fans had managed to scrape together in the wake of the abysmal showing on the South Coast last week was promptly shattered by a press conference that revealed our injury list was still longer than the Light Brigades. And the thought of Leeds United preparing for another game without Kalvin Philips was more scary than preparing to shag your mum without a Johnny. And then Saturday, the game arrived, and the visitors to Elland Road were Wolves, led by their manager Bruno Lage, or Lage, I don't fucking know. Anyway, the fucker looks like a Dolmio puppet made out of flesh. Honestly, every time he moves his arms, I check his hands for the little stick controlling them. And Leeds approached the game in a sort of weird 4-4-2 formation with Dan James as a makeshift centre forward. And you know, it was a plan so crazy, it might just work. Spoiler, it fucking didn't. And despite a strong start to the game by Leeds, it turned out it was Wolves' Golmio day. With a scruffy, slightly jammy goal falling to Hwang Hee-chan, a man whose name sounds like you've just asked someone with a mouthful of marshmallows who starred in Rush Hour with Chris Tucker. And if we had lost the game to that particular South Korean player number 26, I would have been gladly shot in the head by a triangle and thrown into an incinerator. From there, at about 15 minutes in, Wolves decided the game was done and dusted and they couldn't really be arsed attacking anymore. So they decided to have a little sit down at any given opportunity. Seriously, Wolves were playing like they were on last season's pitch at Elland Road, slipping over at the merest sight of a Leeds player, and the ref was more than happy to indulge this bullshittery. The worst offender was Raul Jimenez, a man who looks like a giant upright hammerhead shark and spent the entire game like he'd just washed up on Scarborough Beach, flopping around, which made it all the more satisfying when Ilan Meslier sat him on his arse for a good reason for once. In the second half, Pascal Struijk started to get hold of the midfield, and fair play to the lad, he properly bossed it, and Leeds kicked up another notch and took even more control of a game they had already been dominant in. That was until about 65 minutes in when Roman Saiz put in a challenge on Rafinha that was so violent Quentin Tarantino would have cut it out.
What's going on, man? How are you?
What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? Put that down. What's going on here? What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you not talk to me?
We'll get back to the video when that gets to there. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out my comedy channel. It's just called Rob Mulholland. That's where I put my stand-up specials and other funny videos that aren't specifically about football. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, you can head over to patreon.com/Rob Mulholland and join up for as little as £1 a month. You get all these episodes completely ad-free, and you make sure that I can keep saying whatever I want without having to worry about upsetting sponsors. And head over to to robcomedy.co.uk to sign up to my mailing list, where you can be notified when I'm going to be on tour doing gigs. Woohoo! Right, back to it. Does the VAR at Elland Road just not work? Have they, forgotten to turn it on or something? How was this not looked at? It was given, in the end, it was given a yellow card for handball and nothing for the challenge that took Rafinha out of the game. And Rafinha, up to this point, had been so dominant. He'd been by far the best player on the pitch, and to lose him at that point felt like yet another kick in the fucking bollocks. And then, I don't know what happened. I don't know what it was that really set it off. Maybe it was this injustice. Maybe it was this feeling that we truly deserved it. In previous years, Elland Road could turn into a truly nasty place in a situation like this. We're down at the bottom of the table. We're playing well but not getting the result. Again. One of our players has just been injured. Again. Slowly at first, and then louder and louder. The chant of "We are champions, champions of Europe" just started slowly spreading round the ground. And as it got louder and louder and longer and longer, until it was all four sides of the stadium in unison, bouncing up and down, roaring our team on. It was fucking electric. It was a pure wall of Yorkshire noise, and it was fucking beautiful. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced inside that stadium, and I've been there for some amazing moments over the years. But the pure will of the crowd and the refusal to accept another defeat, it was fucking inspiring. For half an hour, the noise in that stadium was fucking deafening. It was the sound of an entire club, an entire city, united behind a manager and behind a philosophy and behind a team. We are true believers in Bielsism, and the faith carried us to a point we richly deserved. Well, the faith and Joe Gelhardt, who, I don't want to get carried away here, is probably the second coming of Christ. In the aftermath of the game, discussing Joffrey's impact on it, Martin Keown on Match of the Day described him as being like Messi. And to be honest, I think he was aiming a little low. Can you imagine, though, being compared on telly to Lionel Messi? But it's by Martin Keown. Hey Joe, have you heard you've been compared to Messi on telly? Oh, why? Who by? Martin Keown. Oh, right then. What a future that lad has ahead of him, though. His impact was incredible, though, and the entire Wolves back line collectively shat themselves like a 90s Gary Lineker. He really does look like he's got it all, does Joe Gelhardt. He's strong and he's fast and his footwork's amazing and he's brave and he shoots and he scores. He's just got it all. What a fucking time we're going to have watching him over the next few years. Soz Wigan! It would be really unfair, though, to suggest it was just his impact that turned the game around. Living Leeds United legend Liam Cooper put in another incredible performance and absolutely bossed at Arma Traore, the big greased up nonce. Somerville made a brilliant impact when he came on. Who'd have thought that we'd be even more threatening after Rafinha came off? It was really, really impressive from the lad. And it was only fitting that it was Rodrigo who got given the penalty to take, given his overall level of performance in the match. He was popping up absolutely everywhere, causing a massive nuisance and linking up with really good quality. That was the player that we thought we were signing. He was fucking fantastic. And then he smashed home a brilliant penalty and kicked the ever-loving fuck out of the corner flag as Elland Road went absolutely ballistic. It was a 10 out of 10 on the limometer. It was mental. I am absolutely covered in bruises from those celebrations, and I could not give a fuck. We needed that. After the match, Bielsa said we desired this ferociously, which is, to be honest, a massive fucking understatement. Leeds United desired that point like Prince Andrew desires underage. And the wild scenes of jubilation weren't confined to the stadium. Police in Oslo were called out to report some violent screaming around 5 p.m, only to discover a chilled out and delighted Leeds fan Nick Whiteley sat at home with no one murdered at all. It was relief as much as joy, to be honest with you. We properly needed that. We deserved it so much, but we deserve this can only get you so far in football. At some point, you need to start getting some points, and thank fuck we got that one there. It really felt like a turning point. And fingers crossed, with the injury crisis starting to resolve itself slowly, we should be fine from here. The only way is up. And after the match, thankfully, Rafinha revealed it wasn't anything serious and he will be available for the next game. Thank fuck! After the game, there were shocking scenes on the internet, and I'm very sorry for what I'm going to show you next. I do need you to be prepared for this fully. If you require a trigger warning for anything, please, this is it. here. This is one of the worst videos that I have ever seen. It was posted to Paul Scholes' daughter's Instagram and shows Paul chowing down on his daughter's toes. Now, that is the worst video I have ever seen on the internet. It's worse than one man, one jar. It's worse than two girls, one cup. It's worse than 3 dogs and a biscuit. It's worse than 10 nanas and a fist. It's worse than 6 dwarves and a blender. All right, I made a few of those up. You can stop fucking Googling now. No one's toes should ever go anywhere near your mouth. That is fucking disgusting. And look, right, I don't want to kink shame anyone, but if that's your kink, you should be ashamed. You're the reason why if you type any woman's name into Google, it auto-completes to feet, you fucking weirdos. Especially not your fucking daughter's feet. It's fucking disgusting for so many reasons, you weird Scholeses. Ugh, gross, no. Nail clippers cost a fucking quid. Why do you need to be doing it with your teeth? Ugh. I like Man U fans sometimes are like, why'd you call us scum? For reasons like that. Because your club legends are toe-gobbling trolls. That is the worst thing any ex-Man United player has ever done, and I do include Ryan Giggs and Cristiano Ronaldo in this. Sued for rape. Thankfully, they got a massive dose of karma on Sunday as they got slapped around Old Trafford like Ryan Giggs' missus. I have not stopped laughing since. And finally, in much more palatable news, it was revealed that Marcelo Bielsa has spent £150,000 of his own money on building a gym designed by his architect wife purely for the staff at Elland Road so they can feel looked after too. He really is too pure for this fucking world. We are so lucky that we get to live through this era of Leeds United's history. Drink it in. Really savour it. There is no reason that being 17th after a 1-1 draw with Wolves should feel so good. But it fucking does. And that's Bielsa, that. Thanks very much for watching, especially my Patreons. I'll be back with another one of these next Tuesday. Marching on together.